Hey, what's going on, guys? Wouldn't it be amazing if dragons were real? Big, huge reptiles with enormous wings that took to the sky and flew around. Well, are there any reptiles that are like dragons that can actually fly? Well, here in South Central Thailand, I'm going to look into some of the reptile species here that have some amazing adaptations, which literally allow them to spread wings and fly through the air. And I'm going to answer the question, can reptiles actually fly? I'm Dave Kaufman, and these are my reptile adventures. Zilla has everything you need for your reptile pets, from caging to lighting and everything in between. To see their entire catalog and find out where you can get Zilla products near you, visit zillarules.com. So here in Thailand, dragons are actually real. And this little guy in my hand is proof of that. This is a Draco, which is actually Latin for dragon. These are called flying lizards, and the reason why these are flying lizards is, look at this. They actually have wings. I'm going to be very gentle with this guy here, but look at that. So these aren't actually wings that flap like a bird or a bat. This guy can't actually fly. But what he does to evade a predator is they'll sit on tree trunks, and if a predator comes along, like let's say a flying snake, these guys will extend their ribs, open that membrane, and glide for great distances from one tree to another to evade those predators. The other cool adaptation that these have is, look at that dewlap, and they have tiny little wings right here that act as a rudder so that he can actually not just glide, but he can actually maneuver in the air when he does glide. Look at that, he's extending those guys right now. Look at that. This one is actually a smaller species. This is a barred flying dragon. So sitting on a tree, he camouflages right into the bark. He's drab. But as soon as he opens those wings, they're barred, they're colorful, they're reds, they're oranges, they're yellows. So why would this lizard hide those colors when his wings are actually folded in? Well, he has the camouflage to disappear in plain sight into the bark of these trees. But when he's flying, he has those colors to show birds that he is actually dangerous. Bright colors in nature, reds, yellows, oranges, indicate I am poisonous, do not eat me. And so he has those colors that flash like that when he's in the air to warn birds not to pick him out of the air. What an amazing adaptation for an amazing little lizard. In this part of Thailand, there's actually 3 different species of flying dragons, of Dracos. Draco is their genus name. Again, that means dragon. And this one is the medium-sized one. There's also a giant one out here called the Blandford's flying dragon. And these are proof that dragons are actually real. And this is the most common gecko you will see in Thailand. That is a flat-tailed gecko. They are literally everywhere. This is probably the gecko number 875,201 that we've seen. They literally are everywhere. There's another one. 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 And there is a whole mess of tokay geckos in here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them just hanging out right here. Lots and lots of tokay geckos everywhere. And this is where I am. I'm in like some back room mechanical shed, whatever. There's a lot of mechanical things in here. I think you're getting the idea. There are just literally, I would say, hundreds of geckos all over human habitations here in Thailand. Flat-tailed geckos, four-clawed geckos, and huge tokay geckos. They literally are everywhere here. All right, so I'm in the bathroom. not using it, but I'm looking for these. I am going to freak them out. So we've talked a little bit about venomous and poisonous snakes. Well, whoa there, Charlie. If this looks like a viper, well, then you're right. But this isn't a viper, because if it was a viper, I wouldn't be free handling it like this. This is actually what's called a mock viper. It's a harmless little snake that mimics the Malaysian pit viper. The Malaysian pit viper. Did you hear how I said that?
The Malaysian.
Malaysian pit viper. Ow, stop it.
You biting you?
Yeah.
Okay.
This guy is a harmless snake, but he's mimicking the Malayan pit viper. But his mimicry is so accurate that he not only looks like a Malayan pit viper in the color and the pattern, even the head shape, but what's incredible is that even its eyes, where in other snakes that are like this, other typical snakes that are like this have round pupils, he even mimics vertical pupils. And what's incredible about this snake is that when this snake evolved to mimic the Malayan pit viper, this snake didn't say, oh, well, there's a green snake over there, a white-lipped tree viper or a Pope's tree viper. This one said, the Malayan pit viper, that's a badass snake. That's the one that I want to mimic. And so over time, it evolved to mimic that viper in the hopes that other predators would look at it, think that it's venomous, and leave it alone. And that's why different animals, especially snakes, will mimic venomous snakes. Think about a milk snake to a coral snake, for instance. That's mimicry. And this snake has mimicry down to a science, right down to those vertical pupils in the eyes. They don't get much bigger than this, but they do come in two color forms. This drab gray color form, and they also come in a red phase. I hope we're going to find the red phase out here, but I am just really excited to finally find the mock viper, a non-venomous snake that looks as if it is a venomous snake through mimicry. So when it comes to flying reptiles, it's not just the lizards that actually fly to evade predators. Snakes can do it too. And this is a flying snake. And this one happens to be an ornate flying snake. They're also called golden tree snakes, golden flying snakes, ornate tree snakes. But these have a remarkable evolutionary adaptation of actually, well, flying. But they don't actually fly, they actually glide. And these guys are arboreal. They live way up in the trees. And if a predator comes along, or if they need to get from one tree to another tree, what they will do is they will spread out their ribs and they will literally glide through the air. And once in the air, they'll make a serpentine motion. And if you think about it, what they're actually doing is crawling through the air. And that way, they can easily get from one tree to another, or they can very easily evade a predator. And these are pretty common snakes here in this part of Thailand. They are rear-fanged, mildly venomous, but that venom is not going to hurt a human. It's only going to hurt their prey, which is mainly frogs and lizards. And sometimes they've been known to eat other snakes as well. But when it comes to flying reptiles, the flying snake has an incredible evolutionary adaptation of being able to actually crawl through the air. They basically glide or fly right through the air from tree to tree. This is such an amazing little snake. So it's not just reptiles that glide through the air, essentially, well, fly. It's amphibians here in Thailand as well, and sitting on the end of my finger right there is a red-webbed gliding frog, and this is just a little froglet. There's a pond right behind us, and this frog just morphed out of a tadpole. And as these guys get to be adults, that red webbing between their toes will expand and grow, and eventually, as an adult, these frogs will become arboreal, and then to escape a predator, just like the reptiles that we talked about, this guy will spread his fingers apart, use that webbing to create drag, and therefore parachute and glide to safety. What an amazing little frog. But again, it's not just the reptiles that use a flying or a gliding technique to evade predators here in this forest in Thailand. It's amphibians as well. So can reptiles fly? Well, no, they can't. Not like birds and bats can. But they sure have some amazing adaptations which allow them to take to the air. And strangely enough, most of those species are right here in Thailand. So anyway, guys, I just want to give a real quick shout out and a thank you to all my Patreon supporters. If you would like to become a Patreon supporter for just as little as $3 a month, you can get Rattle-On swag, early access to videos, and exclusive videos. Please consider becoming a Patreon supporter. That link is in the description below. Guys, as always, thanks for watching. And until the next reptile adventure, love the planet, feed your reptile obsession, and rattle on.